The Great Escape is a familiar yet unfamiliar history to the Chinese people. In the 1960s, for example, starving Chinese people fled to Hong Kong during the Great Famine. In 30 years, a cumulative total of over 1 million people managed to escape mainland China. The topic we will explore today is China is already considered rich, so why does it fail to retain its people? According to the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees 2022 mid-year statistics, some 117,000 Chinese people globally have sought asylum, nearly 8 times greater than that before the current Chinese Communist Party leader Xi Jinping took office, i.e., 15,000 at the end of 2012. One particular mode of escape that has received special attention recently is virtually a replica of the Great Escape back then, walking the line. In the 6 months since October 2022, more than 6,500 mainland Chinese have been caught at the US-Mexico border. We did an episode on it and presented the voices of some of the Chinese who participated in the escape. The link to the video is in the description section below. Here's an updated report released by Reuters.
Scenes like these are becoming more common along the US-Mexico border. Long lines of Chinese nationals being questioned by US Border Patrol agents.
The people here, the police here, I think they are very kind, and that's the America in my head.
A growing number of Chinese migrants are crossing into the United States from Mexico without visas, taking irregular overland routes across Latin America. Over the course of 3 weeks, Reuters witnessed hundreds of Chinese nationals along an isolated border stretch in southeastern Texas. Reuters interviewed more than 24 of them. All of those interviewed said they got the idea to take the land route on social media and drew on influencers, private groups, and comments to plan their trips. We're blurring their faces and not naming them to protect their identity.
I go to Hong Kong from my Hubei first, and then to Thailand from Hong Kong by plane, and then Turkey from Thailand by plane, and Ecuador, and up through the South America to America here.
The Chinese embassy in Washington said in an email that the government opposes illegal migration, which, quote, is an international issue that requires cooperation between countries. The economic aftershocks of China's COVID lockdowns, coupled with the difficulty of obtaining US visas, have led to a sharp increase in Chinese nationals presenting at the US-Mexico border. That's according to immigration experts, attorneys, and current and former US officials. Immigration attorney Xiaosheng Huang.
China had a very strict zero COVID-19 tolerance policy. So basically everything is shut down, home shut down, business is shut down, the whole country is shut down. The people cannot stay at home staring at the wall all the time. They have to make money, to make ends meet. The mortgage has to be paid, and the food has to be on the table. So they have no opportunity over there.
Apprehensions of Chinese nationals at the US-Mexican border reached more than 6,500 in the 6 months since October 2022. That's according to US Customs and Border Protection data. While just a sliver of the hundreds of thousands of migrants arriving at the southwest border, Chinese people were the fastest growing demographic in those 6 months, CBP data show. Some of them had relied on social media for detailed instructions for the trip, including what shoes to wear and how to find and pay for a reliable local guide. One of the platforms is the short video app Douyin, the Chinese counterpart of TikTok.
I started talking about getting out of the country on the social media such as Douyin, the Chinese version of TikTok, and some other platforms. So they exchange the information how to get out of the country, how to go to Ecuador from Europe or Macau, Hong Kong.
Both TikTok and Douyin are owned by ByteDance. The company did not respond to Reuters' requests for comment on the role of their websites in encouraging the increase in irregular migration.
And, entering the United States at the southern border is an expensive and risky proposition, but if you have personal or economic reasons to do so, then it is a route that's available to you. And that, I think the fact that you're seeing an increasing number of people utilize that is a product of the general trend, and also the fact that other routes have become even more impossible.
After the founding of the CCP in 1949, there were a total of 4 large-scale escape movements to Hong Kong from mainland China. According to China's official records, the number of people who fled Hong Kong from Shenzhen in 1957, 1962, 1972, and 1979 alone amounted to 560,000, among which 140,000 successfully made their way to Hong Kong. In 30 years, a total of over 1 million people successfully fled. The Shenzhen River at that time was like the Berlin Wall in the east, with the socialist Shenzhen on one side and the free Hong Kong on the other. Many people risked their lives to cross the border. Behind those who succeeded in fleeing, there were countless lives who had failed. In the book Foreign Investment and Special Economic Zones, it's recorded that after the reform and opening up, and just when China developed the Shekou Industrial Zone, one time, more than 400 bodies of Chinese stowaways were found on the beach. Many people may not know that the mass escape to Hong Kong directly led to the CCP's reform and opening up. In 1997, CCP leader Deng Xiaoping visited Guangdong. When he heard the report of the Guangdong Provincial Committee on the Exodus and how difficult it was for the army to stop it, he said, "This is a problem with our policy. This matter is beyond the control of the troops." He also later pointed out that the main reason for fleeing to Hong Kong is that life isn't good here and the gap is too big. Only when production and life here get better can we solve the problem of fleeing to Hong Kong. The following year, 1978, the Cultural Revolution ended and the CCP began reforms. However, because of the fear of the CCP's erratic policies, the exodus increased again, and even many CCP officials fled in bulk. Xi Zhongxun, then secretary of the Guangdong Provincial Party Committee and father of current party leader Xi Jinping, realized during a process of rounding up and stopping the smugglers that the ultimate solution to the exodus problem would be to speed up reform and opening up. This led to the birth of China's Shenzhen Special Economic Zone. A Hong Kong journalist mentioned that Xi's father even told the CCP Central Committee at that time that if Guangdong Province could be made independent, he would make it the best region, even better than Hong Kong. Objectively speaking, just after CCP leaders like Deng Xiaoping and Xi Zhongxun made up their minds to reform and open up, Chinese people gradually became better off, and many of those who fled to Hong Kong returned to mainland China. However, after 2019, the CCP tightened its grip on Hong Kong with the national security law, and freedom is fast disappearing. Many Hong Kongers have left the city. In addition to the Chinese who have fled to other countries through illegal entry, more middle-class Chinese travel to other countries through legal means. Look, this is a very long line in front of the U.S. consulate in Beijing on April 27, 2023. Look at all the people who are here to apply for visas. See, thanks to our friends training these days, we got our visa. It says, "Congratulations on your visa approval." That's referring to our family of 3. We have left the consulate now. I'd like to show you this visa. Thank you sincerely. In 2022, Chinese web data showed a sharp increase in the number of searches for immigration on major search platforms. Searches on WeChat more than quadrupled, with nearly 50 million searches. Baidu's search for requirements for moving to Canada also surged to first place. It's a 2,846% increase from the previous year, while the search for where to go overseas ranked second with a 2,455% increase. Baidu's search data also shows that the top 3 highest increases in immigration searches came from Shanghai, Tianjin, and Guangdong. The top 3 most searched countries for immigration are Australia, the United States, and Canada. The most popular countries for Chinese immigrants are European countries such as Portugal and Malta, where the threshold is relatively low.
In the first quarter, the national immigration authorities checked 65.065 million departures, including 32.351 million for mainland residents, 29.488 million for residents of Hong Kong, Macau, and Taiwan, and 3.226 million for foreigners.
It is not yet possible to verify how many of these 65 million people leaving China are immigrants or tourists, but this number has scared some Chinese. They are wondering why so many Chinese are leaving China. Suddenly, 65 million people are leaving China. Why? Is there something big going on? 65 million people. You should know and understand how huge that number is. It's as many as the combined population of Beijing, Shanghai, and Guangzhou. 65 million people. It's just for the first quarter, 3 months. So why such a high number? Of course, all the rich people have left because the poor people can't immigrate, right? Those celebrities and the rich people basically all immigrated, we should all know. How can the poor immigrate? You need at least 500,000 yuan to immigrate to a country. That is more than 70,000 US dollars. It's the standard of other countries. For example, Canada's threshold is more than 70,000 US dollars. In the United States, it may be even more. The United Kingdom is better. Like the actor Sun Honglei immigrated to Australia. If you do the math, how much of China's wealth has been taken away by these 65 million people? We, the common folks, don't have the dream of emigration. We have a little bit of assets, a wife, and kids, and a family. People living in the city just want to have a stable job. Nothing demanding, just a little raise in wages. In the last 3 years, there has been no wage increase. Is it because of these various factors that many people have lost confidence in China? Or is the next big disaster coming? Ouch, what should we do to survive? The rich have all emigrated. The real estate is even more worrying. It's no longer a matter of plummeting. It's a problem that's beyond resolution. It is a malignant tumor. Really, it's the evil real estate that has victimized more than 3 generations of people. We, the common people, can't afford a house even in 3 generations. In our view, Xi and Deng believed that Hong Kong's prosperity and stability came from material civilization, so they wanted to surpass Hong Kong in this respect but refused to give up the communist system. This has led to the inevitable exodus that has brought Red China to where it is today. For without political reform, the rule of law and freedom may be wiped out at any time for one reason or another. May 1st to 7th is a long holiday in China. During this period, the official media and many self-media in mainland China have been reporting a festive message, that is the 3-piece grill combo in Shandong Zibo. It includes a barbecue oven, pancakes, and shallot dipping sauce. It became trendy online. The search for a Zibo grill rose 700% in the past week.
We're from Jinan.
I'm from Tongren, Guizhou.
We're from Baoding, Hebei.
According to media reports in China, the barbecue sensation in the city of Zibo started with some young people trying it out, which then took off online. In April 2023, everyone from college students to migrant workers began to travel miles by high-speed rail to the city just for its barbecue. In response to the barbecue fever, officials in Zibo seized the opportunity, launched a special barbecue train, tailor-made 21 barbecue bus lines, and provided 38 youth hostels for students from universities outside the city at half price, along with other supporting measures.
Netizens can watch the Zibo barbecue through my live feed. I have a lot of fans and followers. Many of them want to come to Shandong to have a taste of this delicacy. They say that the local people in Shandong are very kind, and these flowers I'm wearing have been offered by them.
On average, my phone receives 1,500 calls a day. Now it's out of battery again. There are too many tourists. Officials are deliberately guiding and hyping so to create a phony boom, as if the economy were recovering rapidly and the momentum was still strong. But the truth is that the economic recovery of people's livelihoods hasn't really taken place. As a matter of fact, the barbecue prices in the city of Zibo are very low, and the masses flock to it. Indirectly, it has reflected the Chinese society's collective and automatic downgrading of spending. The previous scenes of large numbers of people going overseas to those upscale places for a binge are not seen anymore. The most ironic thing is that after the barbecue went viral in the city of Zibo, netizens in another city, Tangshan, called out across the air, "Come to Tangshan to enjoy the barbecue." What are the responses from netizens around the country? "I am very hungry. I am not itchy for a beating. We only live once. I want to eat at a low cost, not at the expense of my life." If you go to Tangshan, you might be covered in ashes if it goes well, or become a box of ashes if it doesn't go well. I am looking for fun, not canceling myself. Yes, Chinese netizens are reminded of the most painful memory of the barbecue incident that took place in the city of Tangshan in 2021. Let's replay the footage of this event.
Around the diners, the security guards are diligently patrolling, and they have a piece of paper on the back of their uniforms that says, "If you need help, just call me." At outdoor food stalls, police officers stand attentively in a line to watch over the patrons, and the leader even calls out to the patrons with a loudspeaker. "Ladies, let your husbands at the scene to protect you, or call to tell your husbands to come. Don't talk to strangers and don't confront strangers. I hope you remember these. If there are still problems, call 110 to report to the police." Unfortunately, Chinese people aren't impressed. One comment reads, "One hooligan down, 1,000 hooligans up to flaunt their power." Prior to this, the city saw an assault case that shocked the nation. In the early morning hours of June 10th, 2022, a man at a barbecue restaurant took a liking to a woman in white who was dining in the restaurant and walked up to her and directly touched her back. After being rejected, the man and 8 of his associates viciously beat the woman. The woman's friend, the one wearing black, tried to help but was also attacked. These men continued the assault from inside the restaurant to the street. Yes, they dragged the defenseless woman outside and continued the violence, completely disregarding the onlookers. In this process, 2 women came to the aid of the woman in white and were injured as a result. The surveillance video went viral and sparked public outrage, and the incident quickly rose to the top search on Weibo, China's social media platform that compares to Twitter and Instagram. According to the map, the barbecue restaurant is only 800 meters away from the police station. Local netizens have exposed online a police record of Tangshan police. It shows that on June 10th, starting at 2:41 a.m., the Tangshan City 110 Command Center received 3 calls for police assistance. It was 4 hours later at 6:09 a.m. that police officers arrived. For the assailants, they didn't anticipate that this would be a major case involving the Central Committee of the Chinese Communist Party. They were engrossed in their old crime patterns. After the incident, the suspects made a video claiming that they had gone to the police station to report the incident and had also identified people who reported the incident online. Another person involved in the case claimed in a live stream that the matter had been settled for RMB 600,000 or about US $90,000.
It can be said that in the past few years, one after another vicious incidents have been widely circulating on the web in China. They have shocked the Chinese people's psychological bottom line at every step of the way. In addition, a new report by Safeguard Defenders, a human rights watchdog group, says Beijing is tightening its ban on people leaving the country. The CCP has recently strengthened its anti-espionage laws, allowing authorities to impose an exit ban on any Chinese or foreign national under investigation. Most of the exit ban's cases are civil rather than criminal. According to a Reuters investigation, no subversion or national security issues involving foreigners or political sensitivities have been found so far. By contrast, the United States and the European Union may impose travel bans on some criminal suspects, but generally don't impose them on civil claims. That is, it will become increasingly difficult for people to leave China, but that won't stop those who yearn for freedom.
其实北京领馆的面试柜台
The number of interview counters at the Beijing consulate has increased to 12, and people are still waiting in long lines. The interview pass rate has increased recently, and people are all here. Or maybe it's a common dream that we are all pursuing. Go, go, friends.
加油吧，朋友们！